Boom, 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 boom. G'day, champion. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Today we are painting Thor, Prince of Asgard. Cool. Alright. I think we might start with the red. Let's start with the red. Hope you're all having a wonderful week thus far. Whatever you're doing. G'day, Lifeguard Leroy. What's up, my friend? Oh, mate, doing very well. It's a wonderful time. It is indeed, yes. Marvel Crisis Protocol, my friend. Pretty fun little game to play and paint. So I'm slowly but surely making my way through my Marvel Crisis Protocol collection. I'm at, or I was at 60-something% painted out of the models that I've bought, which is quite a lot, given that I've, basically just been buying all the cool models. You look at it and you go, oh shit, I've got 80 models in my collection. So yeah, 60% painted. I've got 53 models painted now. And as you progress your painting of these models, you look at them and just go, fuck, it's a really cool collection of figures. Really cool to be able to paint superheroes that are really nicely done. It's making me want to paint some of the Batman miniatures game, actually. Surely these, the Batman one would be just as cool. Anyway, it's a conversation for another day, probably. So we're using the patented Trent Dennison method of painting red at the moment. If you've never painted red before, I'll give you the hot tip. It's not fun. It takes a long time. And when you do it, it doesn't look very good. Because you do not have enough value contrast. So this approach is all about creating a huge value shift between your light and dark red and creating that contrast on the figure. And it probably looks like absolute dog shit. Probably makes no sense what I'm doing right now. But it will. Guarantee it. Probably. Red and purple are actually, it's the same problem. It's the same problem. Because they're, borderline, they're the same colour. One just got a little bit of blue mixed in. And the problem that you're having is that red and purple, if you add white, g'day chum dabs. If you add white, they lose intensity. So they turn into pink or pastel versions of the colours. So we will correct it. I'm very proud of you, chum dabs. You're like my son, falling off the wagon. It's come back. It's come back to us. I might try a different fluorescent one actually. I think I've got. This one might work. So, up the power of that. I'm basically using the same red, basically. But you can see the difference in intensity of these reds over white versus over black. And that is basically everything to this technique. It is, you're painting half of it over a white and half of it over a black. What is the obsession with Marvel Crisis Protocol? Don't know, mate. Just decided to pick it up one day and start having a crack at it. I can't really be more specific as to why than that, because that was actually what it was. When you say how do you balance it, what do you mean by that? But Chum Dabs, they're cool models, and I was, just thought I might try a game, and it's a lot of fun. Reminds me of Guild Ball. A lot of the good things about Guild Ball. Got rid of some of the dumb things about Guild Ball. Has some of its own dumb things instead. It gets to use cool superheroes. I don't think it is as large as it was prior to COVID. I think COVID really impacted the scene and stuff. Out here anyway. But yeah, it's a It's a good little game. So. Fair enough, mate. No, Dino, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? You knob end. Hey, Space Toy. G'day, Yabs. Tonight I had just a Coles meal. It was braised beef and mashed potatoes or something like that. It's pretty good. I enjoyed it. Alright, so I'll probably do the rest by brush. We will start with some shadows. Living in the lost and found, see good in everybody's hearts, keep it safe and sound, hope you can find your heart. This paint job should be on the same time scale as the rest, which is roughly 2 hours. Making very good headway on the it's a good one. I like that. Yeah, making very good headway on the figures. And they all look really cool on the table. But we definitely need to see some terrain soon, so because I've got this awesome collection of painted figures and then an awesome mat and then nothing else. Should be fun non-metallic metals in this guy actually. Should be fun. So yesterday was good. I painted a few more models yesterday after stream. What did we paint on stream yesterday? I can't remember. I feel like it was a Spider Foes something. Oh, that's right, I did Black Cat and Doc Ock. Yeah. 10-year-olds back to back until I'm defeated. Probably 2, I reckon. I'm pathetic, mate. Yeah, it'd be 2. True. But 6-year-olds just boundless energy, mate. Boundless energy. 10-year-olds, 6-year-olds, whatever. They just don't stop. And they're probably quicker than me now. So. G'day, Dial Art. I do like painting, it is true. For Asgard!
For Asgard, indeed.
Oh, Buxo!
Hi, mate.
Do I have a camera set up that shows my desk? No, I don't have one top. Actually, I do. It's there, but it only shows my wet palette.
There you go, mate.
I'm going well, Andrew. What's happening, mate?
Not much, mate. It's Monday, which right now for me means I have Tuesday off, which is delightful to do a little stream and then be able to go on and do other things and wake up in the morning and not have to go to work.
That is a nice feeling as Hugo's going off in the background. What is the worst Marvel hero?
What is the worst Marvel hero?
That's what Chumdabs has asked in the chat.
Hazmat sucks pretty bad. Not particularly. Is this Chumdab as in the dude from Western Australia from like way back?
No, he was actually from Brisbane, Townsville, Toowoomba.
Okay, sorry,
somewhere.
Brisbane. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is the same, the one and the same.
Yeah.
Peter from X-Force. No,
Peter from X-Force. No, he was great. I mean, he gave us a good laugh, right? So.
No, I'll tell you who the worst is, and this is controversial statement. Controversial statement. It's Lockjaw, right?
Are you're off your head.
Now, I like dogs.
Can I show you something? Just look at my screen right now. Before you start disrespecting in the way that you are.
Let's go to Buckscam and have a look who Bucks tonight. Oh, wouldn't you know it? It's Lockjaw. That's not set up, by the way. I hadn't seen that.
Yeah. So yeah, Lockjaw's on the screen right now. So shit talk away. I mean, he's pretty much good, right, in everything he's in. Fair? He's good
Yeah.
in Marvel Snap. He's really good in MCP. Uh, he's pretty lovable. He's just a lovable dog.
Yeah.
Why do you hate him so?
I just don't like he's just a dog, mate. Why has he got to be so good in everything?
Well, maybe that's why. Maybe the folks over at Marvel are dog people.
Fair enough.
No, there's way worse. I mean, Cosmo's pretty trash.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of
all the dogs.
speaking of models that you've painted,
Yeah.
check this bad boy out. Bum 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 bum. Booyah, Kingpin.
Have a look at him. Love it. The Fisk. You went similar to how I went.
Yep.
Like we went quite dark in the recesses.
Looks better, mate.
It's quite nice and loud on the tabletop.
Yeah. Looks contrast, mate. It's contrast.
Contrast. I know, but I don't know. I've seen some ones where it's a little more subtle, and it was luring me away a little bit.
No, those are wrong. Lockjaw belongs to the Inhumans, Black Bolt and Medusa and stuff.
Not to punish Deno further, but if you flick back to my cam, I think it's better.
Oh, Medusa's hair. Magic.
Yeah, so Lockjaw belongs to these two, or so Medusa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And her husband, Black Bolt.
Black Bolt.
And then their loyal pet is Lockjaw. And so
yes, Black Bolt.
He was hooked up with the Terrigenesis as well. So, and then Medusa's sister, Crystal, is the other one of the family.
So when did you get into Inhumans?
Oh, just over the last little bit. You know.
Yep.
We all have our little things we enjoy from MCP, I think, and that I think there are some things that everyone enjoys, and then there's some nice little offshoots. So I'm less of an Avengers guy, and probably more of a sort of X-Men, sort of Inhumans. I like how everyone has a different thing. You know what I mean? I like that about those particular styles of character. Whereas I think for me, Avengers is a bit like just not Avengers really.
Well, I like the Avengers in the films, but for whatever reason, I have not had any interest in painting them yet.
Yeah.
He says as he starts painting Thor, but...
yeah, but you're painting Thor as an Asgardian, right?
As an Asgardian. For Asgard!
Yeah, so yeah, the Inhumans have really sort of appealed to me, so I thought I could probably knock the faction out, the affiliation out in a week. So we'll give it a red hot go. It's only sort of 6 models plus a 7th with Miss Marvel being 2.
Yep. Although in the MCU now, I don't think she's going to be an Inhuman. She's going to be a mutant.
Yeah, they're going to change it, aren't they?
I think so. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Or not. We'll see. That may have been a red herring. What beers am I on at the moment, Chum Dabs? I'm not on any beers at the moment. Trying to cut out beers. Trying to get into the much healthier option, which is, of course, H2O. So Bucks, I don't know if you've watched this, but it's a Disney Plus television show. It's called Light and Magic.
No, I haven't watched that.
Yeah, it's just about the formation of Industrial Light and Magic, the film special effects studio.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Really cool.
Yeah, I'll give it a look. I won't lie, my spare time is pretty dedicated right now to the table, like painting and playing a new game. that I was introduced to last week or the week before. I think the week before. Don't know if you've heard of that game.
What you're talking about? Marvel Snap.
That would probably be the one. I feel like I've been just sent on an intense Marvel journey right now.
Me too. What level are you of Snappies?
So I only started recently.
Yeah.
Level? Do you mean like what, like iron, silver, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
Or the actual level?
Well, either or.
So the actual level, I think I'm 122.
Yeah.
And I'm already sort of halfway through the silver ranking.
Nice.
So that's not too bad for maybe 10 hours of play so far.
Yeah.
I think.
That is a combination of red and the Sunny Skin Tone and the Chimera Flesh from the Danilo Cartacci set, which is my preferred flesh colour. And I'm about to just soften it all and add some Guilliman flesh over it.
So I'm enjoying it a lot. It's a fun, fast game. It's a very interesting card game. It's different to all the other card games I've obviously played before. So
it is actually like really quite good, isn't it?
Yeah. It's really well thought out. It's deep. Or deep enough for the moment. It might get stale as you get to the top of the
hasn't yet.
Where are you sitting right now?
I think I'm 60, 62, maybe 63. Went on a bit of a run yesterday. Sometimes I just float around and stop.
Yeah.
65. Yeah.
So what's that rank?
Platinum something. Yeah. So I'm trying to get to infinite, which is 100.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm sure you know about all the pooling system and all that, yeah? So obviously where I'm at the moment, which you've just sort of gone through probably a week or two ago, at this bracket, the cards are pretty trash. Or there's a few good cards, but not a lot of good cards, right?
Yeah.
So I played a few little of my own homebrew things that I thought were okay, but I've jumped on a weenies deck right now.
Yeah, all little guys.
5 1-drops, and then it's supported by
Kazar.
Marvel. It's super simple, right? It's like a generic pump deck, so it's like what is it? I'll probably just tell you. Give me a sec. The beauty about this game is that there's like 12 cards in your deck, so it's just tiny.
Chum Dabs, depends which Nocturna set you're talking about, mate. They did too. The new Nocturna paints, wouldn't go near them. The old ones, would buy them in a heartbeat. I'm actually running a deck quite similar to that at the moment. I've got 4 or 5 1-drops and Blue Marvel and Kazar and...
So that's what I'm running right now. It's currently Ant-Man, Elektra, Squirrel Girl, Nightcrawler, Quicksilver, and Rocket. Although Rocket could be replaceable. I think the Guardians are not really worth it. And then Wolfsbane, Captain America, Kazar, Blue Marvel, Spectrum, and Onslaught.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really safe on-curve, really really tempo-based, which I think at this level is fine. I think it'll get blown out once the cards get better and you can start to utilise better mechanics.
So I'm actually still playing that deck, and it's pretty good. The thing that you can't beat is just consistency, right? There's tricks. There's a lot of tricks you can do when you get up in later levels, but don't need to do the tricks. I don't think. Just play better.
Yeah, well, the thing about this deck that's really nice is because of Nightcrawler, you can do a lot. Like, a lot of people don't know how to predict for it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the easiest thing to predict for, and I mean, a big portion of this gameplay is like, what I've learned so far is like, right now I'm still in the steps of kind of maximizing my my play, or my vectors, as you like to say, and in doing so, that's winning me a lot of games, quite a lot. But I think once you really get sound in that space, then you can just focus on you know what your stuff's going to do, when it's going to do, and when it's going to arrive.
Yep.
And then once you can start spending that time figuring out the 3 or 4 decks that are going to pop up, meta-based decks that are going to pop up from your opponents, that's probably when you're really clicking into gear with the game.
I will fill it up.
There's been 2 decks that I've really, really loved, and one of them was a Heimdall deck.
Yeah,
So
shifting everything.
Yeah, it's mostly pull 2 cards, so you probably don't have access to all of them. But like Vulture, multiple man, Cloak.
I put 3. I'm assuming, multiple man is in it, right? I just got him the other day, yesterday actually.
Yeah.
I think that there's 2. Like I put 3 cards straight into a deck, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I can make this work. And then I looked at the pool, and I was like, oh, a lot of these cards aren't going to become unlocked until I hit 200. So that's when I decided, let's just jump on that right now, right?
The Heimdall deck's so fun. It's so fun. It looks
a little bit like unreliable. Like, it seems like a bit of a random deck. So it seems like it could be fun to play, but probably not best to grind.
You really can surprise people because it hits you from so many different angles, and at the end of the thing, right? If people try to play around it, you don't have to play Heimdall. You know, you can just like leave everyone where they are. So it's quite fun. I'll send you a copy of the deck when it's.
Send me the deck list. I'll take a look at it. How about MCP? Did you get some games in this week?
I did. Yes, I did. So I played 2 games on Wednesday.
Yep. And
played 2 games with the boys on Saturday. The games that we played on Saturday, one was a demo game for Koki, and then got to play using Spider Foes for the first time.
Yes.
So that was fun. And
Excuse me.
hey, Rocket.
I've got to do his column.
Cool.
Very important.
So the games on Wednesday night were really cool. I was using Convocation. I was played against Avengers, and then played against Web Warriors.
How are you feeling about Conv? You were sort of like hesitant on them after we caught up last Monday.
No, they're not the faction for me. They've been good experience, good to learn them, but no, they're not the right fit for me. They're solid, but they don't have a lot. 2 Air Pensies Coida Street Workout Super C 0079. I don't know what that means, but street workout. Did some yesterday. Yeah, no, Convocation, they don't have enough control / unexpected vectors.
Yeah, so a little bit too Hydra-y for you as well?
Yeah, just straightforward, up and down.
I like that you're doing Spider Foes, because my bud Owlsy down here, he's going to do Spider Foes, which means I'm going to do Web Warriors, because doing some thematic games I think is a lot of fun.
Yep.
So we'll be able to do that as well, which will be good.
Yep.
I'm liking the changes they look like they made to Web Warriors, like tanking up Spider-Man in 6. I think they pumped him up to 6 health. That's kind of cool.
Looks like it, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I love Rhino. Rhino's an absolute.
Yeah, can't
absolute
wait. Oh, hang on, did
model.
they release rules for him, or you just like the model?
Just like the model. So
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Model is unreal. Yeah, so I decided to play Spider Foes like 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah.
The picture of Rhino drops, and I'm just like, oh, what a magnificent day to start Spider Foes.
Sometimes there's just a sign, right?
It's a little serendipity, mate. A little serendipity.
Yeah, serendipity, that's the word. Hey, so you remember I was telling you I wasn't quite happy with my hood?
Yeah.
What do you think of it now? Got it up on screen. Feel like we're...
Oh yeah, that's good. Glow's really good, powerful.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Much more happier with that. So I think we can leave that there now and call it a day.
Yeah.
And now we can move along to painting some Inhumans.
You enjoying painting the models?
Yeah, I really am, mate. Look, it was probably a little understated, and I think we both were a little understated in the effort that we've put into our display painting this year. Was quite immense, and sometimes it's easy to just keep chugging along, just keep doing what you do, and you're not really stopping to think about, hey, do I need a little break from this, or do I need a change of scenery? Do I need a change of, thinking about things? Because I mean, I guess I don't know for you, for me, but when I'm display painting, like, that's all I'm thinking about is like real, I guess to some degree, like technical stuff. You know what I mean, surrounding painting, and trying to execute and achieve like cool things. Whereas painting this is like, well, it's just good fun. I don't have to think too much. I get to play games at the end of it, so that's like the change of pace. So yeah, I've been really enjoying it.
Message to send me, you know?
And I guess the last thing I will say before you go is that it had hit a point with display painting where, sort of tying back into the sort of efforts we've put in this year, like that break was probably really needed. Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. But it sort of sneaks up on you.
Yeah, that's probably a bit. You can probably sum it up in 2 words, and I take 200. Classic Andrew. But yeah.
You don't realise that you need a break until it's sort of too late.
Yeah.
And so yeah, to be now sort of sitting back and going, I didn't paint for like a month.
Yeah.
Because I just wasn't feeling it, but I didn't sort of realise. I was just sort of going through the motions. And then now, I'm getting home every day and I'm excited to paint. I'm like, I fucking can't wait to paint the next dude in my fucking, my Marvel Crisis Protocol collection, and just getting back to really loving painting.
Yep.
And that's a nice thing.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, I haven't felt the need to go back to display painting yet either. Have you?
No, I mean, I actually was looking up at my Vampire diorama and thinking, you're going to finish that. Should finish that soon, but I don't feel any pressure to do that, which is one of the great things about, not doing commissions. You just get to paint when you want, how you want, and yeah. I'm hoping to bring.
That come and watch us and the display painters, which is basically like what you built the channel on, or the stream on, and then I've come on to join you in the last sort of 6 months or so. I don't think we're stopping display painting, you know what I mean? I think it's just, No.
But I wouldn't say I built my channel on display painting. I think I just built my channel on painting, right? Because I was painting gaming pieces, just painting lots of different stuff. So
yeah, well, that's a good point. Yeah, I've done all the Oathsworn stuff, and we did some Kingdom Death stuff as well, right?
Yeah, and I did all the fucking, what's that little Games Workshop game with the Shade Spire? Yeah, did he? Did Curse City?
One.
Yeah. City, Underworlds. Yeah, so yeah, I don't think it'd be fair to say that I just do display painting. I've done a lot of painting, but yeah, it's not something I'm giving up.
No.
No. But yeah, you got to take a break. You got to find your voice, find your way to do things.
Yeah, and I hope that, like, in taking a break now, right, I think it emphasises the message that we put out there a lot, which is paint what you want when you want to.
Yeah.
And paint what you're excited to paint. Right now, if we're honest, I should be painting display stuff to get ready for all the painting competitions coming, right? Like, I should be face down in a couple of entries to really push myself at the end of the year to measure my start to year of end of year and see where it all lands. But if I'm not excited to do that, then I'm just not going to force it.
Yeah. Perfect, mate. Perfect mindset.
I'd rather go where I'm having fun, and if that means that I didn't even have an entry that I was comfortable in putting in to try and compete with our friends for like a best in show, like, well, I've sort of accepted that now, maybe next year. Like, it's no...
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin the length of this hobby for me and how much I love it by competition and competition alone.
That's such a wonderful, wonderful thing to hear you say, mate, because it's very easy to say it, but it's a hard thing to practice what you preach sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm all about exactly what you just talked about, and yeah, to see you delivering on that as well is good on you, because it's got to be about fun, mate. If it's not about fun, why the fuck are you doing it?
Yeah, 100%. Can I tell you something? A little bit of the old TS80 likes to repel a bit of the old contrast on the first Passover after you've used it.
Does it? Haven't seen that.
It does. You just gotta put a whack layer, almost like a thin layer of water, just to build that tension back.
Yeah.
The other one as well, oil washers. I've confirmed it now. TS80 fogs out oil washers regardless of if it's dry or not.
Interesting.
Easy fix, obviously. We've gone through that fix a couple of times on the stream, but yeah, the building copped a little bit of fogging. Nothing that couldn't be fixed. But yeah, what I thought was going to speed up the final pace ended up slowing it. Sorry, final piece ended up slowing it down a little bit. It's always learning, right?
Never stops.
So I got to play a game this week as well.
Oh, awesome.
Sort of steadily getting some games in. I got to take out the Winter Guard.
How'd they go?
They got the win.
Yeah, they're not as bad as people make them out to be on the internet.
No, they're not. I know where people are upset, like, that they're not good, because I think at the highest end, they're probably lacking a little bit. And it's not because they're lacking on the character profiles. Because, look, I think Red Guardian is a legitimate, fair choice. He's a good shield bearer. He's tanky. He has a job to do, and he can do his job.
Yep.
Yeah? I want to hear your take on when people say, oh, he does this well, but other people do his job better. Yeah?
Yep.
That statement kind of winds me up a little bit. And the reason why it winds me up is because if that's the mentality that we're going to play by, then we're all just going to play the same affiliation with the same, 7 to 8 characters and 2 splash characters, and we're just going to run back mirrors the whole time. And if I'm going to run back mirrors in a game, I'd rather just go play Magic the Gathering.
Yep.
Where you can then, Magic has way more of the poker elements, the card playing elements than MCP does, right?
Well, here's why I disagree with that statement, because there's no one else that can do the job that he does. The job that he does being a affiliated 3-threat in Winter Guard. Is there someone who can do a shield bodyguard role? Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. But is that person affiliated? No. So, yeah. As much as I love consuming content of things that I'm learning and excited about, it's also I hate listening to it sometimes, because I just know that I'm gonna fire up. I'm gonna be like, you're fucking wrong. You're just fucking wrong.
And I wouldn't hesitate to say that because we're both sort of on this journey roughly at the same time, we're probably consuming some of the same content as it'll be the lead content creators in the space, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's always been a prevailing mindset around miniature hobbies, miniature games, which is this thing's bad. And it's been my experience that when someone declaratively states this thing's bad, what they're actually saying is this thing is not as good as other things all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
All of the time. There's never a model that I've looked at in any game and gone, well, that's just out and out terrible in every situation. There's always situations where that model is good or effective.
Yeah.
The problem is
that I'm going to give you a real keen example of that in the game that I played.
Yep.
Shall I go now, or are you?
Go.
Okay, so bear this in mind, and everyone, we're still pretty new to the game. So we're not elite players by any stretch.
I am. I've won a tournament.
We do have wargaming experience.
I've won a tournament, mate. I'm an elite player.
Yeah. Well, Deno might be. Deno's probably won lots of tournaments, but not Andy over here. All right, so Winter Guard playing against Asgardians, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about this last week as well, right? People, like, especially with Marvel stuff, have real emotional connections to things.
Yeah.
And my bud has been a Thor kid since he was little. You know what I mean? Like, he's just a Thor guy through and through. And Thor in our first game, if you remember me telling you, just popped off. He was going bonkers. And obviously Thor has the profile sheet to go bonkers. Like, he can spike and just do an incredible amount of damage, right?
Yeah.
And also, like, if the dice don't go particularly well again, like, when attacking him, he could kind of tank out just a little bit, you know. So, my friend has played his Thor ultra aggressive turn one, right? And just really, like, put him in the center of the battlefield and basically said, the classic wargaming, like, power play, right? Deal with me or die, right? But he didn't really realize that Winter Guard excel in that role, right? Is that I'm incredibly tanky, but also carry like a lot of decent range. Like I can pump a lot of stuff into one character, and it's, you know, where they might not be decent in their 1v1 matchups. If they get an opportunity to gang up on someone, like you've got Crimson Dynamo who is got decent enough. Like he doesn't have the best builder, but it can put out damage, you know. And then he's got a great, like, it's only a 2 power for his homing missiles, right?
Yep.
So, and then that does splash, and so that's pretty decent. Then you've got Darkstar, who's got, you know, a few nice ranged abilities too. Like, so after those two had like dumped their whole payload into Thor, like Thor's sitting there on a couple of wounds, you know. Like, actually no, I carded him on after the first turn. Then he popped up next turn, and just obliterated him. Hey, like he felt the pressure, like he backed himself into a corner.
Yep.
He had one play now. The one play that he had was, I've got to dive deep into the middle of your crew and try and bomb as much people out as I can with it. Is it for Asgard or whatever it is? You know, his big electrical bomb that he does.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure I can tank all of this out, no problem, being Winter Guard. And then I literally, right, the greatest moment in the game so far, Red Guardian just looks at Thor, right? just runs at him and king hits him, just throws him into a dumpster, and just drops him,
Sit
just
down.
kills Thor outright. And then Red Guardian's sitting there in a bit of trouble. And then, for whatever reason, I think I get another activation, my next activation with Darkstar. I'm just like, all right, let's teleport him out of there. We teleport him out. He just runs off and captures an objective and sits on it for the rest of the game and wins me the game.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, yeah, I don't think that Winter Guard are as bad as people say they are. I think their issues are glaring. I think it's that there's only 4 people in the affiliation. Ursa Major's not really playable, I don't think. Like, I'd like to see, you know, if you decide to give Winter Guard a go, to see if you can make the bear work. But I think in order to make the bear work, you have to have things like Lockjaw and Darkstar in the game, teleporting him around to accommodate for his weaknesses.
Haven't even looked at his card yet, but I'll make a point.
He's not great and he's slow. So
again, here's the thing. Speed is crucial.
yes.
If there was a situation where you had dudes that were coming to him, I'm sure he would be much more effective.
Yeah.
So
if you can force that, like if you can build around that, right, then awesome.
And that's the way that you approach those bad models, is you go, okay, what's the situation where they're good? And then you work backwards from there. There was a War Machine model that everyone thought was fucking terrible, which was a dude called Venethrax.
Yeah.
And he was a caster, and everyone was like, no, he's just terrible. You're better off playing. Any other caster can do what he's trying to do better. But he had one thing on his card that no one else had. And everyone was like, well, he's just a worse version of XYZ, you know. But XYZ doesn't have this particular rule. And so I used him in a tournament, leveraged that particular rule, won the tournament. And everyone was like, oh, but Venethrax is fucking terrible, man. And I said, no, Venethrax isn't terrible. He's just only good in this sort of situation. So, yeah, we've gone on this massive tangent, which is basically me saying I dislike it when people say things are bad, because Hugo also dislikes it when people say things are bad, because I just don't think they're bad. I think they're not as good in every situation, perhaps.
Yeah. Yep. I think if we wrote a little wish list to Asmodee or to AMG about like the things we'd like to see in the game, maybe we should do that for Christmas. What Andy and Deno, a couple of newer MCP players would like to see in the game. I'd love to see some affiliation shifting to Winterguard just to get them through until their next character wave comes through. I think that you could probably move across
Colossus,
Omega Red.
Yeah, Omega Red for sure. Colossus for sure.
Colossus, and they're the only two, right? Now I could make an argument for Magic and Black Widow and Bucky, but I mean Bucky doesn't have to because of his rules. But you would pretty much play Bucky every time. I didn't play Bucky just because my bud was playing him, and I didn't want to ruin that experience for him. It was his first time using it, you know. So
yep.
I got Bucky as well. But yeah, just moving those two across could help them out for the time being, until they maybe get to like Vostok or Prin, I think he's called, their god of, their Slavic god of weather, or Red Widow or whatever they decide to. I think they'll definitely go for Red Widow because Red Widow's in some of the card art. But yeah, no.
Did you have fun with the game?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a fun little game.
Having a lot of fun with it at the moment. Looking forward to making a nice little quick Christmas table for us to play some games on Christmas Eve. As I work every Christmas Eve and family sort of goes to other places, I'm usually left by myself on Christmas Eve, which I quite like. It's a good unwind before the big day. But I think my bud's going to come over and we'll play some MCP, and I'll build, I'll wrap up some empty boxes and get some candy canes and Christmas trees. They're all perfect to be throwing at each other. I know it's not your thing so much to have. What did you say in regards to Bob? I don't like stupid shit in my war games, but
yep.
But I think it could be good fun just for the night. So.
All I want for Christmas is you, Thorby.
Yeah, if you could have anything in the game tomorrow, what would you like, man? What would you like to see? Thinking on it, I'm going to throw mine out.
Yep.
I'd love to see the Fantastic Four in it. And I'll tell you, I'm not even a big Fantastic Four guy. I never was. And then lately I've just been like, yeah. And I think it's because they'd be super fun to paint.
Yep.
So that's kind of cool, right? That like painting can sort of just change a perspective on something completely. Like changing the way that you can interact with something can shift you from not being, not fond of it or, impartial to it. Being able to interact with it on a way that you like to interact with things can completely change your outlook on something.
I'm not sure. I'm sort of sitting here thinking, well, what would I like in the game that's not in the game already? It's not much. Most of my favourite characters are there. They've got Gambit. They've got Thor.
Oh, I've got one for you then. You love your X-Men.
Yep.
How about we get some better leadership onto
Cyclops.
Yeah, and we get a little bit more toughness into Storm. maybe adjust Storm's profile to be a little bit more,
Nah, no,
well rounded in her profile, because she's got an awesome leadership ability, right? But her profile is just not quite as sound as some of the other ones. And then Cyclops is a pretty well rounded fighter, but doesn't really have the leadership.
Yep. I'm okay with that balance. I haven't used Cyclops in a game yet, but I've read his card and thought, yeah, he's a solid 4th threat. Anything with a beam of range 5 is pretty good. But yeah, his leadership's not as good as Storm's, and so you'd never play him. But
And that's the issue, right? If you make those slight adjustments, maybe you lessen Storm's leadership, up Cyclops's, adjust Cyclops's fighting profile and adjust Storm's up. Like, just something to make them both feel viable. Because, I mean, X-Men would have to be a massive draw card to the game.
Yab, I thank you, mate, for that very insightful commentary. I look forward to hearing more about you playing WoW full-time with your commitments, mate. It's exciting to know.
I saw a lot of people, typing before that they come here for the songs, but I mean, you haven't sung a song in a very long time. But also, that's not your fault, right? Where are the points being spent?
No, it's probably my fault, mate. I haven't gone at it with my gusto that I was in the past. Definitely could be more aggressive.
I like to think that we maybe played a part in gassing you out a little bit when we just sing like 17 songs in a row one night. That was pretty brutal.
Who are you watching, Yab? Who's the better painter? Is it fucking... You watching Mini Den, are you? How dare you? Jacko. Fuck you.
I'll tell you one thing. I'd like to paint something display in this endeavour.
Yep, I think I'm going to try and do a display piece for Arc.
Yeah, sick.
In MCP. Yeah, I think we'll try something like that. A model on offer for 100k. I think I did say that, didn't I?
That's to me. That was me, literally I made that up. So maybe people just think if they save to 100k, they get a model now. Whoops.
I'd give you a model for 100k, Scarabost. Probably. Might not be much chop.
Might be his Quicksilver model that he's never going to use.
Fucking Quicksilver.
We talk about how I just can't get my hands on certain things that I would really like to get right now.
Yeah?
My God, getting a Strange One is like not easy. Nor is getting the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Yeah. It's probably because I bought most of them out.
Well, I think Strange One might be pretty good in the game, mate, pal.
Well, his value's certainly increased.
Opens up conversation for you, well, so.
Yeah, his value's increased actually with the changes to Malekith.
Yeah.
Being able to re-roll dice against Malekith to try and get that
deal, right?
crit, huge deal.
Yeah, he feels killable now.
So I had sort of been mulling over some workable plans and stuff for how to combat him, and
what did you come up with? Like previous combating, like when
previously. So what you needed was someone who could potentially absorb 2 attacks from him and not die.
Yeah.
Um,
Who do you think fits that profile? Start there.
well, so the first thing that you need is Luke Cage.
Yeah, I thought it might be Luke Cage.
Yeah. He's got bodyguard, so he can absorb a hit for someone else if he needs to, or too dangerous to ignore, I should say. And he's got Heroes for Hire, which also can be really impactful. And he's got Tuskin, so he basically can reduce the damage. So
Is it payable? Is it?
no, it's just automatic.
It's automatic. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's the first piece of the puzzle. But the second piece is you need to entice him, right? And so that's
you need to bait. Yeah, you need to get him into, because you're not just trying to tank him out, right? You're trying to. Are you trying to remove him, or are you just trying to nullify him?
well. I think if you come up against any list that has a 7-point model in a game that's 15 to 20 points.
Well, yeah. If distraction affects him, then
Yeah, you've got to have a scenario plan that can beat him. So you basically give him something to fuck around with for a turn and a half, and you use that time to take a scenario lead. Now, if he's not taking the bait, that's again where Luke Cage and Heroes for Hire comes in, because that's a pretty wide circle that you can force him to take Luke Cage for one of the attacks. Once you've absorbed the first round and you take a scenario lead, ideally, that's when the pressure starts to go back on the Malekith player and forcing him to make
I must do more.
Yeah.
Like the I must do more mentality kicks
yeah,
in. Yeah.
go for more aggressive plays to try and recuperate his points. Sometimes that'll come off.
Yeah.
Sometimes it won't. But you need to force him into that position where he potentially overextends, or you can continue to drive the scenario lead. So
Yeah, so but you're in essence you're going like, and it's maybe an insight into the way you like to play games, is it? That you like to force your opponent to make tough decisions? Like that's a big part of how you win games?
Perfect analogy. When I was playing War Machine with Crix, I would basically give my opponent multiple questions that they had to try and answer, and if they could answer it, they'd usually be in a pretty good position. If they couldn't, I would usually kick the ever-living shit out of them. So similar with Malekith, similar approach.
Yeah, so play the player, not the game, effectively, right? Like you are playing the game, but really what you're doing is you're hedging on the opponent's capability to be actively thinking in the game. Which, I mean, you'll just cop a lot of players who aren't, right? You'll cop a lot of players who, if they're playing the best thing in the game, might be playing a little bit on autopilot or crutching up on just how good something is. And so if you can take away some of those strengths and force them to have to use their mind to make good decisions, then
I think playing a model like that makes you sloppy.
Yeah.
Because you don't get punished for your mistakes very often. So you then tend to make more mistakes because you're like, well, I'm not going to get punished for this.
Yeah.
So,
that's why I feel like I'm enjoying making, like, just following my nose on the things that I genuinely like from Marvel. You know, like, I'm really interested in the Inhumans, so I'm going to play Inhumans. I'm really interested in the Winter Guard, so I'm going to play the Winter Guard, and their time will come around. You know what I mean? I think Inhumans might have had their time already, with before Medusa was adjusted.
I reckon everyone will come back around.
Yeah.
So Sarastro Did a video a couple of days ago on painting Sentinels.
Yeah, he did. Are you going to utilise it a bit?
Well, it's sort of it was a bit of slap chop. The video it was a slap chop. He obviously didn't call it slap chop, but it was.
Yeah.
But I watched it. The reason I talk about it is he used a product in there which I was like, that looks interesting. There's a panel liner.
Yeah, like a pen.
Well, it wasn't a pen, it was a brush, and I think it might have had enamels or oils or something in it that just flowed out of the brush.
Yeah, sweet.
Looked really cool. So yeah, I ordered it yesterday.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Looks really interesting. I don't know how often I'll use it. I imagine it'd come in a lot more. It's a Tamiya product, so I imagine it's more for like the tank
Gundams
guys.
and
Yeah.
Gunpla, I should say, rather than just Gundams. Yeah.
But
Nah,
yeah.
his content's really great.
He's phenomenal.
He has a really wholesome content, I think.
Yep. But he does some things that annoy me.
He's probably done a lot for the game in helping new people.
Yeah.
And I've always got a hell of a lot of time for people that take the time out of their day to help others get involved in something.
I'll tell you one thing he does annoys the fuck out of me though.
Yeah.
He uses some just shit ass brushes. Like all of his brushes are these fucking long spindly ones. Just like, mate, get yourself a Winsor and Newton, you spud. Like, it'll save your life.
Isn't that funny how like some people just have real interesting hobby hang-ups? Like like some people just don't want to spend money on a good brush, or I like I don't I only use super glue. I don't like plastic glue, or it's usually based off having like a one bad experience, right? And then just going, nope, that's not for me. I think brushes is one of those as well, where a couple of people are like, nah, I bought a Winsor and Newton and the brush frayed. That's it. I'm done. I'm never doing that again. Or any brush brand. Let's not just use Winsor specifically. In which Discord, Yab? In the Dirty Paint Water Society Discord?
Or as we like to call it, the Trent Dennison Discord.
I think that's if you like to call it.
Yeah.
Not quite a we, mate, but that's all right.
We like it, yeah. Christmas time. Those of us that work in the retail world, it's not a fun time, is it?
No, it's not. It can be. There are some wonderful moments that you do get to see at Christmas time in retail, but you are also sometimes they get really overshadowed by
Knickerjacks.
treating people like shit.
Yeah. G'day, mate. What's happening? How shit else was the World Cup? There's only 2 good games to watch the whole thing. Both of them were the women's.
Yeah, what I've not been watching. I remember the last time we spoke, there was some World Cup talk, and then I think Australia went on to beat Denmark. I think we were saying it wasn't likely they were going to get through, and then that's what they did, right?
Yeah, they did. They did beat those Danes.
Have they played more games since then now?
They lost 2 nights ago in the round of 16 against Argentina. So they are gone from the World Cup.
Is Argentina looking good this year?
They are looking. They're one of the favourites. Yeah.
Yeah. And who's left right now?
Don't know. Yeah, don't care anymore.
Don't know. Okay. Who was it? Well, who was it? Do you know who was in the 16?
Nah, don't care.
Don't care.
I was watching
Watching
very little of it. Very little of it.
Yeah. Look, I played a little bit of soccer. I watched it. I followed it when I was in England, but it's been a very long time, and 1996 World Cup was a long time ago, right? So maybe I never forgave David Beckham for ruining my English dreams, but I have not watched a lot of soccer since then.
I watched the I think it was 2004
Yeah.
when we got through with Aloisi and Timmy Cahill.
Tim Cahill, yeah. Harry Kilwright.
Yeah. 2006, yeah. It was awesome.
Was
Got up.
Bosnich keeping for us as well? He was, wasn't he?
Oh, Bozza? No, I don't think he was. No, I don't think he was. No, it was definitely someone else. That was a good year. Cahill, 2 goals against Japan. Aloisi.
A good vintage, eh?
Oh.
Yeah. One faction that I don't think I'll play, but I would like to paint. I'd like to paint one Thor. I think Thor of a lot of the models is a pretty viable one for a display piece because you can do a ton of
Yeah, he's good.
a ton of atmosphere with him.
Yeah. Bring me Thanos! Bum, bum, ba, ba, bum, 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 bum. Cricket season starts next week, or Big Bash, I should say. The test matches have already started, but yeah.
Yeah, you're a bit of a cricket fan, aren't you?
Yeah, you're not. You're not a cricket fan.
I was a diehard cricket. I mean, like a lot of young Australians or young people who grow up in Australia, I played every sport. I was involved on a club level with every sport. So as a young fella, I loved cricket, mate. I loved playing it. I loved watching it. We had a wonderful, 10 or 15 years of players to follow. But once that generation finished, I was out. And I never really come back.
That was an amazing time to grow up watching cricket, wasn't it?
It was an incredible
Shane
time.
Warne, Glenn McGrath, Ricky Ponting,
Yeah.
Brett Lee,
Yeah.
Michael Clark, Michael
Yeah.
Bevan,
The War brothers,
Steve Waugh, Mark Waugh,
Greg Blewett,
Yeah.
Mike Bevan,
Damien Martin.
Ricky Ponting, Stewie McGill, Kaskowitz,
Casper,
the
Andy
great
Bickle,
McGrath, the back end, Ian Healy, and
Stewie
and Tommy
McGill.
Taylor. I was at,
and the greatest player of all time, my favourite cricket player of all time, Adam Gilchrist.
I was
Matt
there for
Hayden.
Adam Gilchrist, one of his first one-dayers in Victoria.
Yeah,
And it was the first one since Ian Healy had finished up.
yeah,
And there was no love for him.
yeah.
I remember
They
at the
booed him.
start.
They
Like,
booed him, didn't they?
No one wanted him because of Heels going away. And I think he came out and he put on, because he won, he literally, people did Langer get around him. Langer and Martin.
Yeah.
Such a quality opening.
No, it was Langer and Hayden.
I feel like he won the Australian crowd, not because it's just like, well, this is our new keeper, so we better get to like him.
Yeah.
He went out and did things to earn the crowd's respect, and I really, really like that about Gilchrist.
Yeah. No, he's my favourite cricket player of all time. He's just, he's awesome.
Well, I think what made it so cool about that generation is that it was actually a reload. They were really good before then as well, remember?
Yeah.
Because when the
Border.
Wars were younger and you had, obviously...
Yeah, it was Alan Border, fucking
Yeah.
Merv
Booney,
Hughes, Booney.
Is it the Chappells or no? Not the
Chappells.
Chappells. Dennis Lilly.
Yep, DK.
Alan Border.
Tomo.
Did you say that one already? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a crazy to have that cricket to go into. Ponting, Langer, Hayden.
Yeah, Hayden, that was it, not Martin.
Martin was number 3 or 4.
Yeah. And it was so, they were so good that you just, if all 11 or 14 that were generally selected weren't available and some random came in, they were carted out the building, weren't they? Like, people just didn't want to see them. I I remember Stewie McGill found it tough when he first sort of
Yeah.
came in. It's a big boost to Phil.
If Stewie McGill played in any other era, he probably would have been the first class, the first line spinner for Australia for 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, tough act to follow, right? Remember Daniel Vittori from New Zealand?
Oh, I loved him. He was a great player.
Did ya?
Yeah.
Oh man, I was like, I didn't like him at all. I was like,
I'll tell you why I like him though, because he came to play for the Heat. That's why I like Vittori.
Yeah.
I hated him before that.
yeah, I was like, get out of here, you average spin bowler, because you were so spoiled, with Shane Warne. You just thought everyone was trash if they weren't as good as Shane. You're like, no, mate, get out of here, rubbish spin bowler. Hang up the boots, mate.
Yeah. Mind you, that's a pretty
Lofty ceiling, isn't it?
pretty tough ask.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the hilarity in it.
Until Murley came along, there was no one.
The chucker.
Murley.
He was criticised for being a chucker, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That was the big.
Bitch, Billy's yellow. I'll be sleeping for thrills when you walk out that door. Say it's hard to care anymore. Hill, Sunday, hill.
Yeah, so the more we venture down this path of painting Marvel, the more likely it is that it's only one more entry to be done before CB, and if so, it's probably going to be Rahel,
Nice.
which is a quality sculpt.
You got a strong body of work anyway, mate. I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah, I just would have liked to have something that people haven't seen, like.
But is that because of ego or is that because of ego?
It might be because of ego, but it also might be more like I love showing you and Benny and Storm and Jim, like my closer friends in the painting community. I just love sharing something new, So there's probably a little bit of ego in it, but also like it's fun, right? When you have something new to show your friends, like.
Yeah. Let's flip over to Bucks Cam and see what Buxo's doing. I'm just painting on with Black Bolt.
Yeah, nothing too exciting. I'm just blocking in a bunch of colours. Unfortunately, I can't really stop my situation right now for blowing out on the exposure. So, apologies, friends who are with us having a watch.
Or a wank for that matter.
Looking to amend in the new year, which I think I might follow in Trent's footsteps yet again when it comes to camera stuff and maybe go for a handy cam option and bring in. Are you only running one lamp?
Yep.
Yeah, so you're running one lamp, but you've got some high-powered bangers up top, don't you? Have you got like above you?
Yeah, I've got a good lamp above me, but my it's just the daylight loomy.
Yeah. So I think the situation for me is right now is that I'm off camera. Got to get used to this. The situation for me right now is because of where I'm located in the room, and the room itself doesn't have very good light. I'm trying to balance all the lights decent enough to paint while also being decent enough to view, and those two things aren't mutually exclusive, eh? So it's been a bit of a challenge. So I think I'm going to bring in another lamp, like proper lamp, to maybe offset it, kill all the shadows completely, and then maybe move over to the to the handy cam, and then permanently set up the the Lumix for photography,
Cool.
which I'll need to do sooner rather than later because time's ticking and these models have got to be sent off, some of them, right? So I need to take some decent photos before that happens.
That you do. Black Bolt. He was pretty uninspiring in Multiverse of Madness, wasn't he?
They did him dirty, I think, mate. That was a bit. I mean, he's an absolute powerhouse, right?
He is indeed in the just the Marvel comics. He's a beast.
Yeah, and so to have him be dispatched so effortlessly by Wanda, I mean, look, he did the job well for putting over Wanda, but I thought that they might have put Wanda over just a little bit too much in that film.
Well, Wanda is supposed to be.
Don't hold. She's very powerful.
Yeah.
But I think you can show power without
Murdering
out other heroes to the extent that they did.
I love that scene though. That was a great scene.
I mean, it's an awesome scene. Like, it's not a bad scene. I mean,
Peggy Carter.
Watching heroes fight heroes is a win,
Yeah,
right?
Peggy Carter. I could do this all day.
Yeah. Turns out she can't. She can't even do it for another couple of seconds. I mean, I love that they've cast. If they have in fact cast Krasinski, is it Krasinski? John
Yep.
Krasinski, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
If they've cast him for Reed, I'm pumped for that. That's a very good choice.
There's no way they haven't, mate.
Yeah. I mean, there's a fair bit of stirrings about the old Phase 4. There's a lot of negative opinions floating around about it.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's internally as well as externally.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, do you think there's been a 10 out of 10 film? Do you think there's been a blockbuster in Phase 4? I think about the only one you could go to would maybe be Spider-Man.
Yeah, probably fair.
That's not massive, is it, for, what, 6 or 7 films or whatever it was? Was it 6 films? Maybe 5. But a bunch of TV shows.
They've gone heavily into the TV.
Yeah.
Possibly to their detriment, but I've really enjoyed pretty much every TV show they've done. But where I think it's fallen down for them is you just need to have your fingers in so many pies now. You need to be watching every show they do, and it's just a big commitment. Like, if you didn't watch WandaVision, a lot of fucking Multiverse of Madness was like, what?
Yeah. 100%.
What?
Or like She-Hulk, like if you don't know who Matthew Murdock is,
Yep.
like there's going to be some stuff you're going to be like, okay.
Yep. And that's it's a nice thing, because assumed knowledge shows that you trust and respect the watcher, and that they know what's going on. But at the same time, it's like, well,
Yeah, there's got to be some leveraging, right?
yeah,
Because we don't all go to the cinema and see a film with, our best mate who loves Marvel as much as we do. Sometimes you go with your kids, your wife, your parents, associates who, and like, so it's tough to make it fit for everyone, right?
yeah.
I don't envy them in that situation, but you definitely, I guess it's making a multi-layered film, isn't it?
Yep.
Also, lately I've been a bit like of a stickler for people giving bad reviews to things because I think the more I've spent time even just trying to make a camera work in this situation here, the more I've learned that my opinion doesn't really matter at all when it comes to videography and film because it's fucking hard, you know? It's not easy. And so these people are doing some pretty sensational things with their, you know, with their profession, and if I can't really get on that level to communicate with them about it, who the fuck am I to sit here and criticise it?
Interesting perspective there, Bucks.
Yeah.
Well, I've been doing the old videography filming for a while, and I agree with you. It's any film is an achievement, mate.
Yeah.
I don't like negative reviews for a similar reason, but same time.
Yeah, look, if something's bad, it's bad. I mean, we're not talking about when something's just not good, right? And it's just, you can see it's not good and like, it's just not good. But like when it's 6 one way, half a dozen the other, you know what I mean? Like what criticisms do I actually have? Because a criticism isn't like, I don't think a fair criticism is like, you can not like something, but when you turn that into a criticism of something, you probably want to have a bit more weight to it, right? You can't just be like, I didn't like it because it didn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
And so, wham. You know? Like, that's not going to really hold up, is it?
Yep.
You know, I don't think everyone has to like the same things or everyone has to praise everything because, you know, they've achieved it by finishing a project or whatever. I just think, for me, you know, getting to peer ever so slightly behind the curtain, I'm like a newfound appreciation for that whole industry. And so maybe I'm just slow to the party.
And a newfound appreciation for the big deno.
What's up?
And a newfound appreciation for the big deno as well.
Yeah, indeed.
The work that guy does on his stream, incredible.
Well, I think it's more just like when it's just words. So it was just words when you were like, I'll tell you, man, it's quite challenging painting on a camera. It's just words because I've never done it, right? So I just take your word for it because I think you're a credible mate who, when they say something, is right? But until you do it yourself and you go, oh man, this is actually not easy, you know, it becomes a little realer.
I'll tell you. So this is pretty unrelated, but it's just, it was a fascinating moment for me in my life. So I used to watch rugby league like religiously as I was growing up, and you know, someone would get injured on a rugby league field, and you know, I'd look at the injury and I'd be like, oh yeah, ACL, that's the season gone, or you know, syndesmosis, 4 to 6 weeks, you know, this sort of stuff, and you just move on. And then I played rugby league, and I actually dislocated my AC joint. And that 4 to 6 weeks for an ankle injury took on this whole new perspective for me, because I realised that was 4 to 6 weeks of agony, of pain, of trying to rehabilitate, of getting myself back to where I could actually walk properly.
Yeah.
And dress myself properly and this sort of thing. And here's me going, 4 to 6 weeks. Oh, fucking season gone. What a dickhead.
Yeah.
That's
100%.
12 months of torture for that fucking poor sod.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And that's their job, man. That's their livelihood. You know what I mean? Like, and this is not America, man. Like, you know, you land a good contract in America and you got that 140. You know, you hit that anywhere between that 100. You know, like to $250 million mark. You know what I mean? Like you're done. Like you've now earned, what do they call it? Generational wealth, right?
Yeah.
Like not only are you set, like your kids and probably your kids' kids and so on and so forth. Like, and you can do that being a good player. You know, you don't have to be a great player to hit some of those numbers. But it isn't like that here in Australia. Like a rugby or a footy guy, you know, a soccer guy, like. Somewhere, you know, that some of our sports we just don't pay the same. So like it's pretty sad, man, when someone gets a real rough injury. You know, they lose their livelihood. They're under scrutiny. They're under pressure. Imagine like getting just chewed out, by like a body of people because you got injured.
Yeah.
you know, I'm injury prone, useless, can't do this, can't do that, and you're sitting there going, man, I'm a human being, bro. Like, yeah, I didn't choose for my leg to break down the way it did. I think that's what you're sort of touching on, right?
Yeah, to some extent, but just that realization that it is actually a whole. It's one thing to hear someone say 4 to 6 weeks. It's a whole other thing to be living that 4 to 6 weeks of pain, having to work your way through that. In the same way that when you're like, when I say, yeah, it's pretty hard to paint on camera, and you're like, yeah, cool, it's pretty hard to paint on camera. I trust Deno, I believe him. And then you try and do it, and you realise,
oh yeah, sure.
Fuck, it's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the difference is where I was going is imagine then having a huge body of people slow you out as well. On top of that, right? Like, that's what it's have to deal with.
Thought you were talking about my hip flexor.
Rocket with the hip flexor. Hey, can I have some biscuits, chippies? What happened to you hyperfixating on those? Thought you were done with that.
No,
Hey,
Yeah.
so what's the plan for when you come down, mate? Where do you want to stay? Because obviously Coburg's on the opposite side of town to where I am. So it could be beneficial to just stay in the city because that's pretty close. But,
Rocket's going away to Europe this week. The end of the week.
Yeah.
When she comes back, we're going to sit down and plan out our Melbourne trip.
Yeah.
She might not be able to come.
Because it's like, you know, do you want to be closer to me, sort of similar to what I did when we were in Queensland?
Yeah, I think
so. Closer to me so that we can maximise our time doing other things.
I think that would be preferred, personally. So.
Awesome.
Because I mean, as much as I'm going down there to support and have a good time at the event, it's, be good to spend time with you. But I once we sit down and work it out whether Rocket's going to be able to come or we'll see.
Well, I mean, you could potentially stay with me if you wanted as well, if it's just you, because we do have space, so that is something we could talk about as well.
Yep, cool. We'll keep that option up the sleeve.
Cost down.
Yep. If it does end up just being me, I probably would take you up on that offer, but we'll see.
I'd have to just suss the sleeping range. I've got all the space in the world. You're just a fucking big guy, mate.
Yeah.
It's in the name, right? It's in the brand.
Big specimen.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing though, mate. This gaming room is humming.
Yeah, it looks deluxe, mate.
Yeah.
I don't get jealous about many things, mate, but I'm jealous about having the space to have a lovely gaming room. One gets by. But it's not.
You've got a great setup. Like it's funny because I go the same. Because I go, oh man, he's got the lighting rig and like he can like mount cameras everywhere and like But
what we need is to fuse the two of them. Nick and Jags is back. The kids must be in bed. Mint shop in Clayfield. No, I don't think I have actually. Didn't know there was one. What's it called? Huh.
Must say though, I am very much enjoying with this particular brand of things we're doing with the Marvel stuff. I do enjoy that if I want to, I can go pick up a comic and read about the characters that I'm painting and stuff like that. Level of immersion has always really spoken to me. Watch a movie, listen to a fan theory, all that sort of stuff.
Well, mate,
I think it's what does well for the Star Wars fans in tabletop stuff and the Game of Thrones fans as well. It's all the same thing, isn't it? Really.
I've been rewatching the MCU.
Nice.
It's been awesome.
Where are you up to?
We're currently watching Endgame.
Oh wow, you powered through it.
Bum, 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 bum,
I've gone to do it several times, and I can never pick where to start because I don't want to start right at the start. So I ended up watching all the X-Men movies the other day.
Hmm.
Oh well, I guess not the newer ones, not the old ones. I should watch the old ones; they're fun. Speaking of which, are you going to pick up all the Weapon X stuff?
Yeah, I think so. Looks
Me too.
yeah, looks good. Looks good.
I think I'm going to have to take that silly hat off Wolverine's head and just use maybe use the bear head that you get in the Wolverine set. Did you throw it away?
I did, yeah.
Oh no!
Actually, no.
Bear head would fit perfectly.
Vault Games. Oh, I didn't know they were at Clayfield. They have a shop in the city, but I'll yeah, cool. Yeah, no, I'm a regular customer of the Vault Games in the city, so that's cool. I didn't know they had a shop there. Blade and Blade 2 classics, absolute classics.
Wonderful, wonderful films. Actually, in all honesty, all three great films.
Blade
Third
Trinity.
one's fantastic, man.
Blade Trinity, one of the finest terrible films to come out in years.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
You've got Triple H trying to cut his teeth in the acting scene. You've got Ryan Reynolds delivering a
Masterful performance.
yeah. Oh look, I've gone the wrong colours. Whoopsie.
I love.
My Black Bolt's going to be having white wings instead of black wings.
Oh no.
Unfortunate.
I'm quite partial to like a fucking bad movie, hey.
Yeah, me too.
Like the
Love it.
Meg.
Yeah, Rocket's got this obsession with the Meg. You ever seen that? It's the shark movie.
Yeah.
Jason Statham. Yeah, she fucking obsesses about it. So yeah, I've got
The
a couple
scene
of
where the dude's just in the ball, the blow up ball, just running across like just pounding heads into the water trying to get away. That's a pretty funny scene, eh? And then Meg's just gobbling everything like behind him, hunting him down. Terrible.
But yeah, back in the day, I was big on collecting DVDs, so I bought a whole fucking pile of DVDs, and there was a lot of bad ones in there. You know, like fucking Blood Rain by Uwe Boll. You know,
Blood Rain. Yeah.
real bad ones like that.
Yeah, mate, I'm with you. We had a huge DVD collection. I actually think that that's just a common thing in our generation, right? Like, you know, my payday as a kid, or not as a kid, as a young adult, was like, you know, you went to the shopping centre and then you hit JB Hi-Fi,
JB.
Games Workshop,
Yeah.
a feed. Am I speaking to you? Am I
Oh
speaking
yeah,
your
this
language right
is
now?
my life, mate. This is my life.
Yeah.
10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, that was my life as well. And you know, obviously I was into music a lot too. So JB was a double thing because I could hit my music and then get some DVDs and then hit some Warhammer, grab Hungry Jacks for lunch, go home. It's been a great day. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Paint some terrible looking toy soldiers because
Yeah.
obviously everyone's got to start somewhere.
Yeah. No, Nicky Jags, haven't seen Black Panther 2. It was it's got to be a movie that I'm pretty pumped for these days for me to want to go to the cinemas when Disney Plus is just so convenient. Black Adam, same boat. It's just so easy to just sit down and watch it on Disney Plus. You know?
Yeah.
Tough sell.
And I probably should mention, if people probably wouldn't know this about you, but Trent's TV matches the size of Trent.
It's pretty big, eh?
Enormous. It's the biggest TV I've seen in a house. Like, you know, it's monstrous. Maybe because it's in an apartment as well. It looks way bigger, mate. But it's big.
It's big TV.
Well, how big is it? It's got to be 90 at least.
No, I think
bigger than
it's 85 inch. It's big. It's bloody good for watching sport, mate. It's bloody good for watching sport, for watching movies. It's just like being there.
We're watching Crimson Brush live stream 2023. Come and catch it. It's going to be great. I'm just going to talk to all our guests about their interest in Marvel.
It is pretty close for me to go to the cinemas, yes, but it's you know, it
It's not
is.
your couch, though, you know.
It's just so easy for me to just like sit at home, paint models, and then be like, oh, might watch it.
Are you someone who hates losing time on their days off for the week? Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah, like unspent time doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
It irritates me to no end. Like, Jub has this thing where, I have this thing that Jub points out. Like, I hate stopping in the car for anything. Like, once we're going to a place, no stopping. You know, like no little stop off at the IGA or anything, right? And it's because I've built the plan in my head for the day so thoroughly that no minutes can be spared doing things I don't want to do, which is quite selfish as a human being, but it is the way I am, you know?
So I tell you what I do that annoys the fuck out of KV and
Did you just forget my name?
no, probably most people is I start my weekend by just doing everything I need to do for the weekend.
Yeah.
All of my activities. Done. Don't have
To be more specific about what you
So I do my washing. I clean up the house. I fucking...
on a Friday night.
On a Friday night. I just get it all done. And you know why I do that? Because then I've got the whole weekend to do whatever I want. I don't have to do anything. The world is my oyster, you know?
Mm-hmm. Which is like, you know, you're going to do some miniature painting, some miniature gaming, watch some movies, watch some sport, eat some good food.
Exactly. I don't have anything to do other than enjoy myself.
Speaking of watching stuff, have you started watching Willow yet?
I have, yeah. Watched both episodes. Did you watch it?
Nah.
Oh.
I asked Yana, I go, do you want to watch Willow? And she's like, have no fucking idea what Willow is. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not a Willow guy, but even I know what Willow is. Like, everyone from the 90s sort of knows this, right? And she's like, mate, she's just dead fishing me. She's like, I know what this fucking thing is you're talking about. And like, unless you put it in front of me right now and win me over in the next 15 seconds, this conversation's over. I'm like, oof.
G'day, Match Fixer, and good night.
It might not be a night match fixer. It might not be a keeper or might not be in the repertoire, I should say, for watch list rather.
Yeah. Rocket and I watched it. She was not impressed.
I never heard of it either. I don't think
She didn't like the movie either, did she?
I haven't made her watch the movie. I should make her
Didn't
watch
she
the movie.
refuse to watch it? She was like, no.
Yeah, I think she did refuse when I was like, do you want to watch this? She's like, no.
Sounds stupid and I've never heard of it.
Sounds stupid and she's never heard of it, she said.
Mm-hmm.
The show was terrible.
Hup critic, Rocket.
Yeah.
Hup
Oh, yeah,
critic.
yeah. She doesn't like many things, me included.
She can be won over though. We proved that with House of the Dragon.
We can. We have the technology.
Good storytelling will win her over.
She's been getting right into the lore now, actually.
Has she?
Yeah, she started reading the books.
Excellent. Are you enjoying it, Rocket?
Yeah, it's good. I wasn't sure if I would like it because
No, she
it's
can
told
usually
as
hear me.
history rather than as a narrative.
Maybe not
but
this time.
I actually like it.
She's like,
No, she was chatting away there. She's a far way away. She's liking it. Yes. She wasn't sure if she was going to enjoy the narrative.
That's not what I said.
Whatever, mate. Just you're too far away. Maybe if you.
Come over there.
All right.
join the stream. Just join the stream, Rocket.
Yeah, get a camera on you.
Yeah, get Rocket Cam in.
Documentary.
Rocket cam. We've
That's
got
a great title for a cam, right? Rocket Cam.
yeah, we've got Jub's cam. We've got Rocket cam. It's all happening.
Yeah.
What I said was I wasn't sure if I was going to like it because it's not told as a narrative. It's like obviously history written by Meister.
Yeah.
But I actually think that...
And Mushroom as well, right?
Sorry?
And Mushroom as well.
And what?
Mushroom.
And Mushroom. What does that mean? And
So
Mushroom.
House of the Dragon, yeah? Is that what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Fire
think
and
it is.
Blood.
Fire
Yeah,
and
so
Blood.
it's written from two perspectives. One is of the Maester and one is of Mushroom.
Okay, well, I
So you
don't
probably
know what
haven't met- maybe you
Mushroom
haven't met
is.
Mushroom in.
I don't
He's
know
the
what
court
it is.
jester.
I read about 3 pages per day because I fall asleep, so I mustn't have...
Mustn't.
I hate jesters, so that's disappointing. Well, anyway, I like
Yeah.
it so far.
So
but
that's the really cool thing about it, without going too much further, because I don't want to ruin anything, is that you get the Maester's perspective, which is incredibly like orderly and noble, and of course like the most profound, and is casting everyone as wonderful, and then you get Mushroom's perspective, and Mushroom's like, hey yo, these guys are filthy.
Yeah,
So
right.
a good example is like the Maester's interpretation of what happens between Daemon and Rhaenyra when they go into the whorehouse.
Yeah, right.
You know, the Maester's like, oh, obviously nothing could happen. Like, they're of Targaryen blood and noble folk, they're not going to commit these sorts of treasonous or grotesque acts. And then Mushroom's like, yeah, nah, I was in there. They definitely fucked.
Yeah, right.
So you
okay.
get that, like, the
Well,
differing opinions.
I only downloaded a free sample so far on my Kindle because I wasn't sure about it.
Yeah.
But I am enjoying it so far, so I'll get the full version. And since it's 800 pages long, I might finish it within the next 6 months sometime.
When she's in Europe.
Beautiful.
Miss Scarabost, great idea. We should get a Roomba to follow Hugo around. That would be tremendous.
Yeah, Hugo can.
Yeah, Hugo Cam. Unlucky, Stevie, that you can't clean your house on a Friday night because you have children. I would recommend not having children. It's worked out wonderfully for me so far.
That's a good recommendation.
And I did not watch the game. I assume you're talking about Australia. No, I did not watch the game. I actually haven't been too into this World Cup, actually. It's not done a lot for me. But I did watch... did you watch much of the Rugby League World Cup, mate?
Me? No, I'm not a big rugby guy.
No, I was talking to Nicky Jags, mate, not you. Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. We got to watch pretty much every game of the women's and watched a few of the men's games. It just wasn't very good, mate. Just was not very good because the Australian teams were that much better than everyone else. It was not even funny. Alright, I think I'm just fucking about for fucking about sakes. Thor, Prince of Asgard. Absolute waste of time. Yep, could have just given it to Australia and moved along, saved everyone fucking thousands of dollars in three weeks of travel or whatever. Fucking dumb. Anyway, just match fixing.
What did you think of Dave's new piece, mate?
Of what?
Dave, our dear friend David.
Oh yeah, DC's. Yep. Yeah, I liked it, mate. I thought it was good. He's I feel like he's really struggling at the moment with his health, and I feel like it's impacting his enjoyment of what he's doing.
Have you spoken to him recently?
I spoke to him briefly a couple of days ago about his...
Yeah, nice. So I'm assuming he updated you too that he's definitely looking now to make Crimson.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, which would be awesome to have him there. Yeah, we want him there.
Yeah.
But it's a shame that it's at a point where, I mean, this hobby's been such a wonderful part of my life, and the thought of not having it, not being able to do it, for any reason, is pretty depressing.
It's a bit of a foreign concept, isn't it?
And so he's been staring into that, and also staring into the fact that it's not just his hobby that he can't do, but it's huge portions of his actual life. So tough situation to be dealing with.
Yeah, I shot him a message. I haven't spoken to him for a few weeks, and I thought, shit, I need to send him a message and just see how he's going. And just, obviously we're aware that he's fighting this thing all the time. So I want to make sure that I'm always sort of reaching out and just having a chat. And yeah, he seems to be in good spirits, which is really great. So yeah, he sort of said, look, I'm going to be there. I think it's going to be really good for me to be there. And I just said, look, it's you know, without putting any pressure on, mate, like it's really important for you to be there as well. Like, don't ever underestimate the value you have in just being there, just being you and just being there.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't need him to take photos, man. I don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
But I just need him to be there, you know?
Yep. It's incredibly important. That's what I said to him. I said, to a lot of people, you will make their day just being there. And he was quite humbled by this. And I was surprised he wasn't aware of this. Like, well, didn't really know. Maybe he just needed to hear it from someone else. But, you know, Dave's a wonderful guy. Wonderful in his passion for what we do. And, yeah, he'd be sorely missed as a friend more than anything, right? He wasn't there. So I'm stoked that the result looks like he's going to be able to make it.
Yeah. Yes. It's another 2-hour jobbo.
Nice. I always find painting blue and white to just be quite a tedious set of colours to have to paint close to each other. It shouldn't be, because I paint a hell of a lot of red and white, and it should be the same thing, right? But I don't know.
I've been finding, for a few years, I guess, much more difficult to paint cold colours than warm colours. And blue and white are basically too.
Yeah.
Very cold, and that makes it quite hard. Scaraboss, you're gonna give up your points. I thought you were going for a model, mate, at 100,000.
Yeah, I must admit, in stepping away from everything that I've painted display-wise and not really looking at it for a hot minute, and just focusing on this, it was a really nice, pleasant surprise to go back over to the cabinet, have a look at what's in there, and sort of look at it with fresh eyes.
It's Party Monday. I got my tie on, Stevie. What are you talking about?
The real Miss Lopez. Yo.
All right. Well, that's awesome, mate. Karaoke. How can I live without you? I want to know.
I've got a song for you, mate. You need to sing "Hero" by Chad Kroger from the first Spider-Man movie.
And they say that a hero can save us. Not gonna stand here and wait.
Do it.
I'll hold on to the wings of the eagle. Not gonna stand something. I can't remember the rest. It's pretty good.
As it all flies away, I think.
Yeah. And they're watching us as we fly away. G'day, Gear.io. What's happening, champion? Doing some painting. All right, I'm gonna have to pick what I'm gonna paint next now. We don't talk about Bruno.
Oh, it's those Guardians, isn't it? You know who you should paint sooner rather than later?
Whom?
Angela.
Angela. Interesting.
You have her?
Yep.
Yeah. Angela is very good. Across the board.
I don't
Really
want
good
to
splash
close
character.
my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep 'cause I miss you, baby. And I don't want to miss a thing. 'Cause even when I dream of you, The sweetest dream would never do. I'd still miss you, baby. And I don't want to miss a thing.
You definitely cried in that movie, didn't you?
Oh, I cry every time I watch that movie.
Yeah.
Fucking great movie. And I don't
Oh,
wanna
Brucey,
miss one
giving up the
smile.
ghost.
I don't want to miss one kiss. I just want to be with you, right here with you, just like this. Sentinel Prime. Daz is keen for me to do Sentinel Prime for some reason. It probably is time for me to do a big model. Actually, I haven't done a big one, but you know, I'm feeling like I should.
Yeah, Arnim Zola's a big one.
Yeah, and
He's as big as
I've done Juggernaut and I've done Hulkbuster.
Yeah, they're big ones. Juggernaut's huge, man. My bud JC brought over a Juggernaut. Like, he's working on some Brotherhood, and he brought over his Juggernaut, which, mind you, he said pass on to Deno. Cheers for the inspo. I think he just copied your one straight up. I wasn't going to say anything because you don't need the pump up, mate, but he's pumping up your tyres pretty hard.
Daz already did Kingpin, mate. Here he is. Here's Kingpin, the big fella.
Yeah, it looks like it was inspired by Andy Bucks.
Yeah. Although somehow I've just got a bit of paint on him. Right there, a little spot. It's very annoying. Kingpin. And also did Moon Knight, by the way. Did I show you Moon Knight?
Oh, that's a dope model.
There he is.
Yeah,
Moon Knight.
that looks sick.
Tricky model to paint.
Yeah, because of the white.
It's just all white, man. It's hard to create enough
You
contrast.
want to put blues and purples and teals and
Yep.
off greens and stuff in there. I'm taking a painting white now. I paint from green. A lot of the time I'm coming in from green. You probably
Interesting.
noticed that.
Maybe we're going to do Malekith. The new Transformers, the new movie with Optimus Primal.
Yeah, Beast Wars.
Beast Wars, get in.
Yeah, I watched that trailer the other day.
Malekith. G'day, Captain Carp. This is going to
Hey, Carp, how are you, mate?
Going to need some putty. That's a shame. All right, let's get out some putty.
I'll tell you, mate, Lockjaw, like, that line on his back, I'll tell you, you run your finger over this model,
Yeah.
and it is as smooth as I could possibly get it. Like, the line was non-existent, but, I mean, the natural issue is with airbrushing, right, is the layers go on so thin that it just doesn't matter, like... So my Lockjaw's going to have a line down his back, which pains me so, but I can live with it, I guess.
There is, there's a new Transformers coming out, Scaraboss, called Beast Wars. Nicky Jagger is referring to a time many, many years ago when he texted me to say, Transformers is on TV tonight. Are you watching it? And I was like, yes, I am. But I wasn't watching it. But I was like, I'm just going to tell him that I am. But it was on Foxtel. And I didn't have Foxtel. And he came in the next day. He's like, I didn't know you had Foxtel. I said, I don't have Foxtel, mate. Why do you think I have Foxtel? He's like, you're a fucking liar. You said you were watching Transformers last night. And I said, yeah, no, I wasn't. Wasn't really.
You got me.
You got me.
Jay.
Got me, mate. That's like 20 years
question
ago
is,
now.
who does that say more about, right?
20 years ago.
Does it tell more about you taking a white lie? Or Nicky Jack's exception to figuring out whether you watch Transformers or not?
Fuck, he's never let me forget it. Mind you, he stole money from me, so
Oh,
still owes me $5 for the fucking dog.
you dogged him, mate, on a fiver.
Cool. All right. So my next faction is Spider Foes, and
which means Venom, which you've already painted.
well, I'm
You're
actually
gonna get to play him.
I'm actually fully painted on the Spider Foes.
Oh, sick. Oh yeah, of course, because you've done. Oh, I didn't know you'd done Thingo.
I did
Didn't know you'd
Goblin,
done Lizard.
done Goblin, Lizard, Doc Ock, Carnage, even did Carnage.
I really liked your Doc Ock. I saw that on the
Yeah, that was
stream
yesterday's
on Sunday.
stream. Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, did Goblin. So my Spider Phase is actually all done, which is cool. Got Kingpin, but I wanted to add.
Yeah, I don't think you'd play Kingpin in Spider Foes though. Eh?
Well, so this is the thing. Let me explain to you because I think I will. I'll get my Doc Ock.
I want to hear this theory because like the best part about Kingpin is naturally his leadership.
Here is Doc Ock, and here is I've done Venom. Yep.
Yeah. You did Venom ages ago, eh?
Yeah, quite a while ago. So here's Doc Ock.
Venom is a cheeky couple of hours. He's like Black Bolt.
Yeah. I might actually do his eye things in red because they're actually red.
Well, I've got something to show you. I made some slight changes to a certain character. I wonder if you.
I also just nipped a little bit of this guy out while I was just kicking around. Johnny Rat. What do you got for me?
All right. Have a look at this.
Over to Andy Camp.
Mine. All right now I don't have mine.
Oh, is that Omega Red? Down a little bit. Yes, there he is. Hey, he's bigger than I thought.
He's huge, mate. But look at these whip arms. Big changes on them.
Do you whip him out?
Oh, I completely changed all the directions. Go have a look at the original.
Aren't they going around him?
Yeah, they're going all over the place, but I'm like, nah, I want some real motion in his tentacles. So I want one that looks like he's going to grab the ankle, and then the other one like he's about to lash down and like whip you. Yeah, so I took the right one and put it on the left, and then cut it all and segmented it and changed it. It was a bigger conversion than it probably looks, but I think it'll be pretty seamless when it's painted.
Looks good.
He's huge though. You want to see scale?
Yeah.
All right, here you go.
Oh yeah, he is big, massive. I don't recall doing any Dragon Ball characters. I feel like I have done a Goku or something at some point. I feel like I've done one.
While I'm here, I can show everyone a Bucky.
Bucky Barnes. Yeah.
This wonderful chap wins award for the most cooked face in all of MCP.
Cooked.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. My home camera on OBS is like heaps tight compared to the camera getting pushed through Discord, so it's getting compressed pretty hard. So maybe we can figure out if we use the actual.
What we should do for next year is we'll set up.
We'll tighten it all up. Yeah.
We'll set up the actual stream for proper.
Yeah. Maybe we pick up another night again, mate, and become an MCP stream.
Oh, here we go.
We've become an MCP stream and a display stream. There you go.
Have I done Sailor Moon? I definitely haven't done Sailor Moon, although I've done some models that would probably pass as Sailor Moon.
How about this one, mate?
Oh, yes. Black Widow. From the Black Widow movie in the white.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
So I've only got to paint 3 more, and I've got all of the Russians done, and I think they all complement each other a lot. I'm looking forward to maybe adding 1 or 2 more. I'd love to see Widow come in. The new Widow. The name escapes me. Florence Pugh.
Yep. Yelena.
And then, Yelena. I'd love to see her come in, and that would be my 10. And then I thought I'd show you this one now because we're getting close to finishing up soon, aren't we?
Yep.
Because you wanted to see this from last week.
I did. Charlie Bear, it's time to go to bed. Time to go to bed. Uncle Trent said bedtime.
So we have to really adjust because of how big this thing is. But so apologies, everyone. All right, so that's how the top looks.
Yeah, nice.
So obviously, some might ask, it kind of looks like it's just a shade using the oils, but the thing is that the amount of oil that I used to create this, it was absolutely minimal, but compared to how much wash or shade you'd use out of a pot. So it'll be a lot more efficient for you in that space, but it also gives a different finish too. So I think I decided I might just go through and put some little wash blobs, contrast blobs, and let them semi-dry and then clear them out just to create some interest. I'm not sure if I like that or not. I don't know if I'll do that again. What do you think?
I like them. Yep.
Yeah, these little roof things, and then front,
Yeah, awesome.
and then back. See how we've got these little white things in here?
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's where the clouding has happened.
gotcha.
So a bit of a bummer on that front, but I mean, it's terrain, right? So it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
We can live with it. And then, sorry, the back. We can live with it, no problem. And then probably the best piece is this little banger here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's.
I've got all those little knickknacks sitting over, just beside me, trying to decide what I'm going to paint, or which ones I'm going to assemble, put on top. I really like the Stark banner that it comes with.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's very cool. Do you know these aren't easy to find either? The buildings. I think I was mentioning that last.
Yeah. It feels like it's going through a bit of a renaissance at the moment, mate, where everyone's just like getting in. Good time to be getting in.
Yeah, it is. This happened with Legion for this company as well. Like Legion didn't it just wasn't selling. When I bought all my Legion stuff, man, I picked it all up dirt cheap, right? And then it's like Legion just boomed and everything was back up at sort of a more respectable cost for selling. But yeah, you can swap me off cam now if you want, mate. I'm doing a little bit of this.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
I've been doing the same thing all
A
stream.
little bit of Monica in my life. So this model, this Malekith, is like the same sort of scale as what I was painting all the time. And I'm looking at it going, fuck, it's so big.
Right? Yeah, because you're so used to going back to 2-hour paint jobs on 40 mil, like.
So, wow, this is going to take me so long. Dickhead, you used to spend fucking 3 hours on a stream painting a face. Like... We're leaving tonight. I swear there is nowhere to run. We're
Has anything
leaving
really piqued your
town.
interest or inspired you from what's been coming out in the display world for the
Has-
new sculpts and things?
Has anything inspired me?
Yeah, has anything grabbed you at all? Or?
No, and that's sort of weird, isn't it? Like even
I'm the same, man, and it's creeping me out a bit.
Yeah,
I'm like,
even
am
the
I
latest
falling out of love
Lucas.
with this?
the latest Lucas, I was like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I picked the latest Lucas up. I'll get it, but it do you know, bloody Dave had a lot to do with that sculpt.
Did he?
Yeah, a lot to do with it.
That's
he was
cool.
in chats with Lucas and was saying, a cool idea would be to do almost like a mercenary set, effectively.
Yeah.
And so when Dave's sneaky, he goes, "What did you think of the new painter?" And I said, "Look, it didn't blow me away, mate. I said it's good, but it just feels like a rehash of Mercenary Goblin." He goes, "Funny that," and then he just sends me like his conversation. And I'm like, with Lucas, I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. Like, it's cool. I just didn't, it didn't rock me on first take." And that's probably because I feel like I'd seen it before somewhere, and it turns out I had, and that was the intention.
It's fine. Like, it's just fine.
Yeah.
That's all.
Will you grab it?
No.
Nah.
I'll probably regret that though.
I reckon you'll regret that one. So think it out, because it is a Pina Warrior type model, and you do.
I do like them. I do like them, but I've just because I've been doing all the MCP. I'm sitting here and I'm like going looking at my pile of display stuff, and it hasn't decreased at all.
Yeah.
And I just think, fuck, do I need any more models? I've got like 6 months of solid painting there, if not more.
Yeah.
So.
And you haven't even got 70% through your Marvel stuff yet, and it's only been a month, mate.
I know. It's actually fucking scary.
You're gonna paint everything, I think.
I don't know that I will.
Hear me out logically why I think that.
Yeah.
Because when you get to like 87 of 110 painted, like, why are you not gonna just complete the whole thing? And then that way, if you do ever decide to move on from it,
You can just sell the whole lot.
you can sell the whole lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Mind you, that's a small window of people that would be willing to splurge the amount of money I'd be asking for the whole thing.
True. But if anyone's in those circles, maybe that's why we need a stream, mate. We need a night for Marvel so we can start building our Marvel following, and then that way.
When I go to sell them.
Yeah.
Daz is going to
The
give me a
master
greenback
plan.
for the whole MCP collection. Daz, it's very generous of you, buddy. Yes, this is going to be a fun one to paint. Big tiger, big winged tiger, pretty good.
Yeah, you're making me now, like, because you're doing all the gut filling, like I was trying to avoid that with Lockjaw, and now I'm like, should I go back and fill it all up?
Nah, you shouldn't.
Yeah, right. Have you got Lockjaw?
No, I don't.
You should get him. He's like one of the most splashable.
He's awesome, awesomely
So
splashable.
He just gets 3 power for standing next to a bud. You know? Like, how good is that?
So dumb.
Funnily enough, exactly what he needs to spend to teleport someone around the map.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it does. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night, you dickhead.
Did you run a game for Daz?
Yeah, we played a couple of games now.
Did you enjoy it, mate? Daz?
Yeah, he's frothing over it.
He's frothing it?
Yeah. Well, we all sort of got to know each other through Guild Ball.
Yeah.
Guild Ball and board games. Well, it probably was Guild Ball, wasn't it, Daz? Not sure, actually.
No, I had a weird hankering for pain the other day.
Mm.
Some bolt action.
Yeah, that is a weird hankering.
That's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah, very weird.
Maybe I can tick that. Big fan, awesome, mate. Yeah, maybe I could tick that little thing off by doing something, just like doing something display in the scale modeling space.
There's just never enough hours in the day, mate. Someone's got to win the lottery so I can just do this professionally, full time, and not actually have to have a job.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate.
Like,
There's only one way I can see it happening. One of us is moving states.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I watched this dude on YouTube. His name's Martin Kovac, Night Shift Modelling, and he does scale modelling, and I fucking think, man, that'd be so fucking cool to just have the time to splash around in that pool.
Yeah.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, content creation space for our hobby is a really interesting one to watch over the next 3 to 4 years, I think. Particularly as more people internal in companies see it as an avenue for them to potentially move out onto their own, which I think you'll see more and more over the next little while. What do you think?
I think that's probably an astute observation, which I'm not used to from you.
Yeah, I'm weird like that, eh?
Every now and then.
I keep you guessing, don't I? You're
Every
like,
now and then you
"Is
just
this
come
guy
out with a banger."
Is there anything between his ears? And then something comes out and you're just like, is this guy having me on?
Yeah.
Is this all just a ruse?
Yeah. Is this an elaborate ruse to just make me think he's a dope and then steal all my money?
Yeah.
Alright, looks like I'm going to paint some Malekith next.
Yeah, interesting choice.
Well, you can play him now and not feel guilty, mate, so...
Well, that's true. You know what? Maybe you should hold it. Maybe you should hold it, pal. Because, you know.
What, save it to last?
Well, look, have a look here. It could be a mythical journey we take together.
Ah, yes!
Yeah, here he is, right here. Wonderful gift from my mate Alzy for Christmas.
Oh, yeah, Alzy, happy Christmas.
Alzy was absolutely ecstatic when he gifted me this because he's an absolute fiend for Thor, as I mentioned earlier, and Asgard. And so this was actually a gift to himself because he's like, what would be more fun than playing Thor against, you know, one of Thor's greatest nemesis, or nemesis? And I thought, well, Al, you've looked after yourself nicely. And then the day later, he gets nerfed into oblivion as well. So double tapped for old Alzy there.
Yeah, Alzy's come up trumps.
He's looked after himself, hasn't he?
He's done himself a mischief. On ya, Alzy.
Yeah.
G'day, DNO Mikey. I am indeed using PVA glue to fill gaps. That is 100% what I'm doing right now. It's one of my pro tips, if I could be so bold as to call myself a pro.
What do you have to do to be a pro?
Believe it.
Believe it? Is that it?
That's it.
What do you think, chat? Like, what do you have to do to be considered a pro at something? Make money doing the thing? Get most of your income from that activity? Sure. So there's a threshold, is there? Like, it has to be a larger sum of money that you receive for doing this? Like, enough to live off? Is that the threshold?
I don't normally sand it. It doesn't usually take all that well to sanding. So you can't use it for every gap. Alright, friends, it is time to move on to grander things this week. Have a wonderful week, Bucks.
I will, mate. I'm sure we'll talk again. We'll talk about Snap and a few other things.
Indeed, we will. Thank you for joining us all tonight, friends. Let's find someone we can raid.
Who are we going to raid tonight? Mittens is on.
Mittens. Sold. See you, Stevie. Next stream is Sunday morning, my time. Which I don't know what time that is for everyone, but yeah, whenever it is.
Is it usually evening time for?
Well, it depends where everyone is. If you're in Europe, it's usually late at night, my Sunday morning stream. If you're in America, it's perfect time. It's a lovely Saturday afternoon / evening. And if you're in Australia, it's Sunday morning before most people get out of bed. See you, Bucks.
See you, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Always. See you, friends.